Hey everyone, welcome back to Stratele Studios. I'm Jeff Castanon, and I am pleased to bring you my interview with Dani Sylvia. I've been playing her on the channel recently, and I was lucky enough to sit down with her for a little bit and chat about her life and her music. And there's a special treat at the end because her producer joins us, and there's a little bit more about him in the interview that you'll find out. But sit back, enjoy, and I'm sure you're going to love it.
Hello.
Hey, there she is.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Good.
How you doing? How's your day been?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How's yours?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's only 9 o'clock here, so it's
of course.
It's just getting started for me.
That's good. It's like 5 here, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long old day. Oh my God, hi, T-shirt.
You're gonna be staring at yourself the whole time.
That was my someone made that picture for me out of paper.
This is out of paper?
So she basically got loads of newspapers, like bits of material, and made it into my face.
Wow.
So my stepmom has the original. It's literally like pieces of magazine. So cool.
Yeah, I was going to ask you who has the original of this thing. How big is the original artwork?
It's it's huge. It's like A2 or A1 or something, I think.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh!
I see you've made like a record thing.
It's my Dani Sylvia shrine. It's the beginning of your shrine. It's only one piece. Yeah, I can't wear two shirts at this. I can't wear 2 shirts at the same time. So unfortunately,
that's true. That's really cool. It's made me want to make it into a vinyl.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I folded it up. That's yeah. So yeah. Tell me about that shirt. So that's one of your songs, right?
Yeah. So it's just the artwork for a song of mine called "Love Me Loud," which I made. Me and my partner actually made it sort of together.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we make all of it really.
Cool.
Well, that's why it looks a bit ratchet.
we'll get into that song because I want to talk about that a little bit later. But I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of background on you. And like, I know you're from London, right? Are you currently living in London?
Oh, so we live just outside in a place called Windsor, which is where the Queen has the castle and stuff.
Oh, wow.
We don't live inside the castle. We've yet to be invited. Quite rude. So we live like local to that. So it's like half an hour from London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you grow up there, or did you grow up in London, or?
I grew up in a place called Crawley, which is again about like half an hour from London. So, but I've spent most of my days in London because I trained there. All my friends live there, pretty much. So yeah, it's very it's my territory is London, really, rather than outside. I actually know it better than where I live now.
Yeah. So now I know you went to school at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. Is that in that area?
Yeah. So Guildhall is in it's actually in central London, and it's a big conservatoire of music and drama. I actually studied acting, not music.
I was going to ask you. Yeah. Oh yeah. So did you go there with the intent of learning the craft of acting, and music was a side thing for you?
Yeah, completely. So I always wanted to do what I do now, but my acting teachers basically really encouraged me to do acting, so it's probably what I was stronger at, really. So when I was 18 and at school, I auditioned for these drama schools, and I happened to get in, and I think I just thought, oh, okay, I'll do that then. So I trained to do that for 3 years, and it was an amazing training. It's like, I feel so lucky. Sometimes it's surreal that I even went there, because it's like a really like top dollar training. Never said that before. So but then as soon as I left, pretty much I was straight back into music and singing and writing. Almost straight away.
You know, it's funny, Dani, because I picked that up watching your video. You know, when Madeline was the first one I watched, and I picked that up immediately. I was like, and that's on my questions here. I was one of the first things I was going to ask you was, are you an actress and have you studied acting? Because that definitely seems like something that you're well versed in, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good I am. It's easier to get away with it when you don't have to speak in music videos. When you're not reeling off Shakespeare.
Right. Memorizing 1,000 lines of something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I have. And obviously that performance is just completely authentic and not acted at all. But yeah, no, it's very much.
Well,
very
you're a triple threat though, because I know you dance. I know you're a trained dancer, an actress, and a singer. Amazing.
Yeah, I love dancing. Dance is actually my favorite, but it's definitely the one I'm worst at.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so much fun. That's like what I spent most of my school years like finding the dance studio and like going there in break times. Sometimes I should have been revising to dance like a weirdo on my own.
Oh man. So going back to the music part of you, what were like some of the earlier influences for you growing up? What really affected you when you're younger, when you're a kid?
Yeah. I was really lucky because my mum really loves music, and she was actually, like, looking back, I didn't realize at the time, but she was quite on trend. Like she listened to new music. So, I mean, it's old music now, but she was like, she banged out Destiny's Child and Christina Aguilera. And actually, Christina Aguilera's Stripped album is still probably like top 2 albums for me. I love it. Just because it's like so nostalgic. But yeah, I grew up on Christina Aguilera, Destiny's Child, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. But then my dad listened to country. So I was also raised on like Reba McEntire and Garth Brooks. And yeah, and like Dire Straits and stuff.
Yeah.
It was quite eclectic.
Wow.
So I was lucky. And we did a lot of driving. So I listened to a lot of albums.
Is country music a common thing to fall in love with in the UK?
Actually, probably not.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of interesting that your dad took to that.
Yeah, my dad is really has a really like niche taste in music, and he's really into music. Even now, he'll be like, "Oh, have you heard this album, that album?" And I'm like, "Why? Like, you're listening to Lana Del Rey? That's so cool."
He's eclectic. Yeah.
Yeah. Lucky, really, because I got to hear all sorts of things I wouldn't have heard.
That's great that both of your parents were so into music, so you couldn't help but fall into it. What were some of the, like, when did you start getting serious about doing music? You know,
I would say I always wrote songs. But I was quite a nervous, underconfident child, really, in some ways. And so actually, I think I struggled with believing in myself. So I'd kind of sometimes perform and then I'd be like, no. And some of it was quite private. But I wanted to do it a big person that I didn't mention was Britney Spears, who actually, because she was a triple threat. And I think she was quite a big inspiration for me, because I would watch her concerts and be like, oh my God, yes. So I'd say that's when I fell in love with music, around that sort of like early noughties, late 90s era of like big pop and performance and like theatre almost. Sorry, your question was actually when I wanted to do it properly.
Yeah.
So I would say late, really. Wanted to do it the whole time, but decided to do it after university, after drama school. So I would have been 21, 22.
Wow. I did a little research online, and I found out that you worked with Muse, or you did something with Muse and Paloma Faith.
Yeah. So this was when I started really wanting to do it. So I came out of drama school, and I ended up in this gospel choir. It's like a contemporary gospel choir called Urban Voices Collective, who are awesome. And we sang with artists like the ones you're mentioning. We I mean, we worked with loads of people. It was such an amazing training ground because we had to we got thrust into like huge situations, arenas, big events, and having to kind of learn fast and, you know, learn intricate harmonies and all those things. So that was my training ground. That's actually, they're the people I owe my development to, I would say, more than anything, because it was, however, you know, 7 years. It wasn't long ago that I was with them, just before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just had the most amazing experiences. Went all over the world singing, and worked with amazing people. Like, got to learn from them as well and watch how they work in studios and be like, okay, you know, they're the one thing that they all had in common is that they were really, really good to people. That's what I noted, and I was like, that makes sense. People want to work with them, and that sort of keeps them where they are.
And that's extremely important too. It's not just having talent or having chops. You got to be around people. You got to be around those people. I have found that also in a lot of the musical experience that I've had as a guitar player and doing opening spots and this kind of thing. The bigger the act that we opened for, the kinder they were. It was the guys that were not quite there that were assholes. I mean, those were the ones that were just impossible to be around. And it was the guys at the top that were really treated us guys that were lower with respect, you know, because they didn't need to prove anything.
Yeah, completely. It's always the way. Well, I do think, it counts. It really counts a bit. And actually, like, the people that I don't know, like, word travels fast in such a small industry. Yeah. So, and actually all the other people around the project, not just the artist, create the success for the artist as well. So if you're pissing everyone off, then I don't know, like, people won't want to work with you, and then I don't know, it'll just die slowly. But
yeah, exactly.
That is definitely, I've experienced the same.
Oh man,
the same thing.
So I came across your project that kind of blew my mind. It was the Catharsis thing.
Yeah,
I read that and I had to reread it because I'm like, am I reading this right? 6 EPs in 6 months. That is incredibly ambitious. Yeah,
that was so much fun though. It was, but then I kind of regret it. I've consolidated it into an album, which I didn't really want to do because it wasn't an album. So I kind of wish I hadn't done that. But yeah, it was 6 EPs rather than an album. And in 6 months. So me and my partner had to quickly we actually, to be honest, did quite a lot of it in advance. So we weren't like writing it in 6 months.
Okay, start now.
Exactly.
You had to come in with a little bit of something. Yeah, it's a 20 song. Now it's a 20 song album.
I know.
It's like a 20 song album. But, you know, and I was listening to the songs and I was trying to break down in my mind. I was playing a little game with myself. Like, is that those 4 songs in EP? Are those, you know, I was trying to figure out if that's what you did. Are those songs chronologically each EP, or all the songs just mixed around?
Yeah, they're chronological.
Okay.
So I think the first, like the, I think it's the first 3 tracks or something is like the first EP, the green EP.
Yeah.
And they were all themed. It was so much cooler when it was 6 EPs, but they were all themed. They were like, the first one was called An Eye for an Eye, and it was all the songs about jealousy. And then it was like, it was.
So why did you change that? Why didn't you release the EPs?
My distributor told me that it was confusing and that it was like too cluttered, and that it would be more smart to consolidate so that everyone just like knows where to find everything, essentially. But I'm not sure that it actually mattered as much as I thought it did. So, well,
you don't, it's hard because you trust and you don't know. And if other people have more experience doing it, then you kind of go along with it and all that. I would have loved the EPs.
I know. I'll send them to you on the SoundCloud because I've got them I'm pretty sure I've got them still as EPs on SoundCloud in private links. So I'll send them to you so you can see.
I want to know the titles of it. I want to know because that's part of the art too. That's part
Yeah.
of your work. That's part of the concept of the whole thing. So yeah.
Oh, idiot. That was definitely a people pleaser moment for me.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's too bad. Which, you know, I had come across the title of an album that I can't find. So it's Tall Tales. Now,
yeah. Sorry.
What's the story, Dani? What's the story with all this stuff? I'm very confused.
So Tall Tales doesn't exist yet. Basically, actually, Catharsis was Tall Tales, essentially. So I had all these songs that was Tall Tales, an album. Then I decided, no, actually, I'm going to split them up into 6 EPs based on themes and sonics and stuff. And then it didn't feel right because it wasn't, like Tall Tales no longer suited the concept to me. So that's shelved for now.
Oh.
But you don't want to like release your first album. That's why I'm kind of sad that it's an album already. To me, I haven't released my first album yet because I'm waiting. Like that needs to be a bigger deal and more behind it and everything. So that's to come.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
We've got loads of we've literally got three albums ready to go, but we just need the groundwork around it needs to be more in place.
Yeah, because I see a lot of singles. Like I'm on Spotify mostly. That's kind of the streaming media that I use to listen to music. And I was looking through it and I see a lot of singles. And then I see Catharsis, and then I'm like, what's your first release? You know, what is the album here? And then I was reading more about another, what was it? Album 1.11.
So 111 was my so all the singles that are out were also part of an album. Again, I haven't basically wanted to do what I did with my EPs. It's really tough when you're independent because you're doing it on your own. And so you have these big plans, but actually if you don't get the funding to release the album, then you kind of have to just change. It's been a bit of a changing course all the time for me.
Right.
So,
right.
And actually now I've just literally signed with a new management. So I'm hoping now that it kind of can start to make more sense and I can start to, all of the music has been followed through with. It's kind of like the consolidation of things and the way that everything's presented that's ended up kind of not quite working ever how I wanted it to. But that's okay, 'cause to be honest, I'm going to just like a lot of the songs that are out as well, I actually want to take off and re-release and stuff. So to me, I haven't even began yet. Like I've been trying my best to kind of create momentum, move things forward for myself completely, like more or less completely on my own. But actually the game plan and the ambition is quite huge. So we need to actually take it all off and regroup and release everything, give it
and that's totally fine. I mean, because I think what you did was great actually, because you need to get your music out there, because people, you have to start building and you got to get the music out there. You got to get that exposure going. You can't hold it back because then nobody knows who you are. So whether it's a single or an EP or, a pre-album, put it out there and then people go, oh, I mean, that's how I found you. So if you didn't put your stuff out there, I wouldn't even know you existed. So do that. And then you come back and you clean everything up and you're like, okay, here's the release. Now it's called this, it's got these songs on it. Everything's consolidated. So I mean, that's totally,
that's always the advice. Like as an artist, you want everything to be to be able to conceptualize everything perfectly. And we really have tried our best to do that. Like all of the, so 111, it ended up being 6 songs in the end. 111 is just my favorite numbers. It's like time and date I was born. We did like all of our own music videos. We made Madly and Weary Soul and Madonna Whore and there's probably a couple more. We made them all. Me and my best friend made them all on my iPhone. They're all like literally completely in house. I edited them all.
You did all the videos on your iPhone?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So my best friend, Alexander Wolf, he basically, because he's an amazing friend, he learned how to like use a gimbal properly.
Yes.
And we just like clipped my phone onto this gimbal, and basically we just like scrappily made all of them together.
Wow.
And then I've got a lovely team of friends who like helped produce some, like who helped like do the call sheets and like get the cast in for To the Bone and everything, and can we get a drone for free and all that stuff, and like, can we get this venue for free? So it was very scrappy but like fun. That whole project was really fun, actually. It was very like the video for Love Me Loud as well. So Alex and my fiance and Barney, my production partner, so it's literally on this road. We'd actually filmed like hours of footage, and we didn't really we had like a rough concept, but we were like, let's just go and sort of do whatever. So then it was the last shot of the day. We're on our way home, and Alex was like, well, just do a bit on this road. And that whole thing and that one shot ended up being the whole video. But it was so funny because if you like have the audio from the actual video, it's basically my fiance and Alex literally like sprinting and like screaming past me. It's all like running back and forth, and they're like, move, Alex, move. It's hilarious.
I know, you could hear him kicking up the dirt and telling you, okay, dance now.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my gosh. I saw that video. Is it one shot the whole way?
Yeah, it's one shot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That is so cool. And then I saw Zachariah, which that's done on an iPhone as well, huh?
Yeah, that's an iPhone. That's more obviously an iPhone, I think. I think we improved slightly by Love Me Loud and To the Bone and things. But yeah, Zachariah was one of the most fun days of our lives. It was hilarious. Man. Yeah,
there's a lot. That one is got a lot of editing, lot of editing that one compared to the one you were just speaking about. A lot of shot, a lot of work. I mean, I do it a little bit for myself personally, so I know how much work goes into it. And I just kept thinking hours of work. Yeah,
hours of work. It was for Madly. That was the most like intense one, I'd say. Zachariah I actually did on iMovie because I didn't know how to use Final Cut Pro yet. So that was really hours of work, because it was like every time I nudged anything, everything else would go out of sync, and I was like crying. But yeah, Madly we got home from filming it, and I just sat in bed, and it was like 15 hours later, and I'd like missed sleeping entirely, and I was like, I'm done.
Did you edit that?
Yeah.
Dani, that's a work of art, man. With that time, the time stuff. I mean, because you had to sing to the track fast and sing to the track slow, and then you had to sync everything. When you're in the car, you just mounted the phone on your dash.
So actually, no. Alex, my best friend, was in the car, like like that. There are a couple of shots where it's mounted, but actually very rarely. It's mainly filmed on a gimbal.
Oh yeah. So tell me, what was the noise? Let's get into Madly, because I absolutely love that one, that video. What was the noise that was going on at the beginning of the video when you're walking to the car?
So that's Alex. Here, where he used to live, is this amazing estate in Hackney, and it's so London. It's like so quintessentially London. It's actually one of my favorite places in the world. It looks much dingier and scarier than it actually is as well, because I made it all blue lit.
Yes.
But it's basically, I think it was just somebody drilling, like doing building works in the building around the estate. So yeah, it's just a drill, like an intense drill, I would say. It
really added to it. I mean, all the little things that you put in to your work, whether it's the music, your singing, the videos, all of that little stuff that you put in is everything to me, because I catch those little things and the little efforts and the little things you decide to keep, and that kind of stuff. Like, when I first saw your video, because I didn't know anything about you, and I randomly selected that, and then I started watching it, and right off the bat, that prolonged intro I was like, oh boy, this person knows what they're doing. This is an artist. This is an artist. It's not just a singer. And yeah. And like the combination of like what you did with the editing, how you colorized the footage, the way you acted in it, the song itself, what you were doing vocally, just all comes together to me it's one of the best things I've ever seen. And I'm not just trying to make you feel good. Seriously, it's masterful, what you did.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's so kind.
It really is. There's some shots of you with your head down and you're looking up. Those absolutely kill me. What you emote and those small moments, it just works with everything else. What you look like, what I'm hearing, and I got to tell you, this is one of the most beautiful breakup songs I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's, you hear breakup songs and a lot of them tend to be kind of, maybe vinegary, spiteful. Yeah. Your chorus is absolutely beautiful and so unexpected lyrically, because I'm expecting to hear some sort of, resentment, but it's the complete opposite. It's like, I would do it all again. And it's like, it's so beautiful because you're really pointing out that it's pain and loss. Those things that you're dealing with in the song, it's pain and loss, not anger, not resentment, not those feelings. And that's what makes it so beautiful. That was so captivating. Do you look for those lyrics, the lyrics in that song? Did you write those? Were those in collaboration with someone?
I actually wrote that song on my own after a breakup. That is very completely true. That song. So that was, like a 3 a.m. in my bedroom on a piano, sort of crying, cliche. But I have to say, I brought it to Barney, and to me, like if you hear my original demo, like he's turned it into what it is. He took it and made it into like everything that I wanted it to be and more, to be honest. His brain works in a way that he's genius. So yeah, those lyrics are, that was me being all sad.
Bravo. Thank you. Yeah, the line, there are a few lines in it that really get me. And I talk about this when I talk about songwriting with other people. And I said the most powerful lines that you could write lyrically are the ones where you don't have to say too much. You could just say a small, maybe even something visual or just something small, but you get the weight of the meaning of it with a very small detail, and the line about that you accidentally took the camera, and you said, but you never took any pictures of me, but you said that you're into photography. That kills me, because I totally get that. I totally get it's so beautifully said. You don't have to say it with more words. You say it right there about not being loved enough with that line. And it's I think that's the only time I allowed myself to have a slight, it's not even bitterness. I think it's more realization, I guess, more of a like, right. That made it clear. You were making it clear all along, in a way. Right. So it's more like a self, like, oh my God, you were so stupid. Of course. Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man. Beautiful. So,
Thank you.
I gotta tell you, I literally, I tear up every time I hear that song, Dani. I do. I can't get through it without tearing up. I don't know. Maybe I need therapy, but but there's it just I can't get through it without really tearing up on it. Is there a song for you that does that you could think of? Is there anything that you could think of that does that for you?
By another artist, I presume.
Yeah.
Because like with mine, I would be like, yes. One of them would be My Mind by Yebba. And another would be, do you know a song called Perfect Ruin by Quabs?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh my God. It's like the most beautiful song I've ever heard in my life.
Please send me a link to that.
I will.
I'd love to hear it.
It's stunning. It's just, the first time I heard it, it was like, it had one of those like, oh my God moments of just, completely emotional. My mind was the same. Another one is Bad Religion by Frank Ocean. I find that hard to get through. Mm-hmm. There's quite a lot, actually. I cry every day, so most songs. So I'm in your camp. Songs often make me cry too.
What's wrong with us?
we're just squishy.
Yeah,
we're just emotional.
Well, you are the queen of misery pop, I hear.
Try.
Oh my gosh! But there's something about that though, and I don't. It's always been something about my listening experience that I love melancholy music. I don't know why. It's not like I like to feel sad or or feel pain or whatever, but it just cuts deeper. Somehow I don't know, maybe it's just, it's a closer reflection to how I view life in general. And that's just the connection that I have, is because, it's a difficult existence that we have. It's hard.
Absolutely. It's really tough. I'm exactly the same. I have more interest in, especially lyrical content that is more towards like, that are, songs are about more difficult things or how to process things, because that's what I've had to be interested in, I guess, because of just, I'm actually a really lucky person. We're lucky to be living and breathing, but there's been times that have been really hard and experiences that have been challenging. So I think my interest hasn't necessarily been in like, woo, like, I love that too. I actually love, like, Robin would be a huge, like, I love Robin. I love, like, I do actually love pop like that. But like all her lyrics are really morose. All of her lyrics are about like loneliness and like rejection and like, so yeah, I think it's much more interesting because then you get to go, oh my God, okay, that thing now makes sense. That thing I've been feeling has been said in a way that makes sense to me. Okay, cool. Now I can put that to bed. Yeah. What else? I have so many things I need to put to bed. So it's like a constant quest to find the lyric that makes your thoughts make sense to me. That's like why I find music interesting, I think.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. It's the lyrics that make, life make sense to you. Yeah. That's